Hello and welcome to the Karmic Scrolls podcast. Today's topic is Ascended Masters. So let's dive right into the fascinating evolution of this concept over the past 3,000 years. When most Westerners hear the word Ascended Masters, it might seem like a modern concept, but this idea has evolved through various religious and spiritual traditions for thousands of years, highlighting humanity's enduring quest for higher wisdom and spiritual guidance. In ancient Hinduism, for example, enlightened beings appear as avatars and rishis. Avatars like Krishna and Rama were divine incarnations who descended to restore cosmic order. Rishis are sages who achieve profound spiritual insight through deep meditation and ascetic practices. Similarly, in Buddhism, bodhisattvas like Avalokiteshvara embody compassion and selfless service, choosing to help others reach enlightenment rather than escaping the cycle of rebirth. Early Christianity brought us the concept of saints and mystics. Saints were revered for their divine connection and ability to intercede on behalf of believers. Mystics like Saint Francis of Assisi and Saint Teresa of Avila were known for their profound spiritual experiences and contributions to Christian thought and practice. During the medieval period, esoteric traditions like Kabbalah and Hermeticism started to influence Western spirituality. Kabbalah speaks of tzaddikim, or righteous individuals with divine knowledge who guide others. Hermeticism, drawing on ancient Egyptian and Greek wisdom, emphasized direct knowledge of the divine. The late 19th and early 20th centuries saw the rise of Theosophy, a spiritual movement that brought the concept of ascended masters into the spotlight. Helena Petrovna Blavatsky, a co-founder of the Theosophical Society, introduced the idea of a Great White Brotherhood, a group of enlightened beings overseeing humanity's spiritual evolution. Blavatsky's writings, such as The Secret Doctrine, described her interactions with these masters. Alice Bailey, another theosophist, expanded on Blavatsky's ideas, adding more ascended masters and detailing their teachings. Her books, written with a master named Djwhal Khul, emphasize spiritual hierarchy and interconnectedness. In the second half of the 20th century, the New Age movement embraced and further developed the concept of ascended masters. Figures like Elizabeth Clare, prophet of the Church, Universal and Triumphant, claimed to channel messages from these beings. Prophet's teachings focused on personal empowerment, spiritual transformation, and the process of ascension. The concept of ascended masters has also made its way into modern popular culture, appearing in books, movies, and music. Works like The Celestine Prophecy by James Redfield and the Law of One series by Ra have introduced these ideas to a broader audience, often blending them with themes of extraterrestrial intelligence and multidimensional existence. The idea of ascended masters has evolved from ancient religious figures and mystics to a central theme in modern spirituality. This journey highlights humanity's continuous search for spiritual guidance and enlightenment. From ancient sages to contemporary spiritual guides, the concept of enlightened beings helping humanity has remained a powerful and inspiring part of our spiritual landscape. By looking back at this rich history, we can appreciate how different traditions have contributed to our current understanding of ascended masters. It shows us that the desire to connect with higher wisdom and transcendental truth is a universal human experience. But what does the evolution of these ideas have to do with our overall understanding of ascended masters in modern Western society? To answer that question, we need to look a little more closely at the religious tradition that is most popular in the West, Christianity. So let's delve deeper into how the concept of ascended masters has evolved within the framework of Christian theology, highlighting apostles, saints, prophetic visions, and revealed truths from angelic beings up to the end of the 17th century. In early Christianity, the apostles were seen as direct disciples of Jesus Christ, spreading his teachings and establishing the early church. Figures like Peter, Paul, and John were revered not just for their missionary work, but for their deep spiritual insights and experiences. Paul's conversion on the road to Damascus, for instance, involved a direct vision of Christ, which profoundly transformed his life and mission. These experiences were seen as divine validations of their spiritual authority. As Christianity grew, the tradition of sainthood emerged. Saints were individuals recognized for their holiness, miracles, and intercessory power. Early saints like Saint Stephen, the first martyr, and Saint Anthony, a desert father, were venerated for their profound spiritual lives. Their stories often included miraculous events and divine visions, reinforcing their connection to the divine. During the medieval period, Christian mysticism flourished. Mystics like Hildegard of Bingen, Julian of Norwich, and Saint Catherine of Siena had intense spiritual experiences and visions, which they recorded and shared. Hildegard, for instance, described vivid visions of divine light and received messages that she interpreted as coming directly from God. Julian's writing, The Revelations of Divine Love, conveyed profound insights into the nature of Christ's love and mercy. These mystics often describe their experiences in ways that resemble the modern concept of ascended masters, beings of higher spiritual awareness guiding and teaching humanity. Their writings influenced Christian thought and provided a bridge between human and divine wisdom. Prophetic visions and angelic revelations are another significant aspect of Christian spirituality that aligns with the idea of ascended masters. The Bible is filled with accounts of prophets receiving divine messages through visions and angelic visits. The book of Revelation, attributed to John the Apostle, is one of the most famous examples, filled with vivid imagery and prophetic insights into the end times and the ultimate triumph of good over evil. During the medieval and Renaissance periods, visionary experiences continued to be an important part of Christian spirituality. Joan of Arc, for instance, reported receiving guidance from saints and angels, leading her to play a crucial role in the 100 Years' War. Her visions were seen as divine interventions, guiding her actions and inspiring those around her. The Renaissance brought a renewed interest in esoteric traditions and the integration of Christian and Hermetic teachings. Thinkers like Marsilio Ficino and Giovanni Pico della Mirandola explored the connections between Christian mysticism and ancient wisdom traditions. This period saw the blending of Christian theology with Hermetic principles, emphasizing direct knowledge of the divine. Ficino's translations of Plato and Hermes Trismegistus introduced ideas of divine intermediaries, beings who bridge the gap between the human and the divine. These concepts resonated with the Christian idea of saints and angels as intercessors and guides. Angels and archangels have always played a significant role in Christian theology. Figures like Archangel Michael and Archangel Gabriel are depicted as powerful beings who carry out God's will and offer protection and guidance to humanity. The hierarchy of angels, as described by theologians like Pseudo-Dionysius the Areopagite, outlines different levels of celestial beings, each with specific roles and functions. These angelic beings can be seen as precursors to the modern idea of ascended masters, spiritual entities who assist and guide humanity on its spiritual journey. Their interventions in human affairs, as recorded in both scripture and later Christian writings, highlight their ongoing influence and importance. By the end of the 17th century, the concept of the ascended masters had evolved through various expressions within Christian theology, from the apostles and early saints to medieval mystics and Renaissance esotericists. The idea of enlightened beings guiding and teaching humanity remained a central theme. This rich tapestry of spiritual traditions laid the groundwork for later developments in the concept of ascended masters, influencing modern spiritual movements and continuing to inspire seekers of divine wisdom. Despite this rich history and profound legacy upon which modern Christianity is built, there is still a disconnect with the idea of divine guides, especially beyond the boundaries of religious tradition in the West. In recent times, some modern Christian followers and theologians have expressed strong objections to the concept of ascended masters, especially those popularized by figures like Helena Blavatsky and Elizabeth Clare Prophet. These objections often stem from the belief that such teachings are heretical potentially pagan, or even Luciferian as they fall outside the biblical canon. However, this rejection might be ideologically illogical and based on a misunderstanding or fear of New Age teachings perceived as anti-Christian or a threat to established theology. First, it's important to recognize that the idea of enlightened beings guiding humanity is not new or exclusive to any single tradition. The association of ascended masters with New Age teachings often leads to their dismissal by some Christians. However, many of these teachings emphasize core Christian values such as love, compassion, forgiveness, and spiritual growth. The fear and rejection may stem from a lack of understanding or a perceived threat to traditional beliefs. Labeling these teachings as pagan or Luciferian can be seen as a distortion or an overreaction, ignoring the broader context and common spiritual principles they share with Christianity. Rejecting the concept of ascended masters while accepting the role of saints and angels in Christian tradition can be seen as ideologically inconsistent. Both concepts involve beings who have attained a higher level of spiritual awareness and serve as guides or intercessors for humanity. The primary difference lies in the terminology and the context within which these beings are understood. Furthermore, the fear of New Age teachings being anti-Christian overlooks the fact that spiritual growth and the pursuit of divine wisdom are universal human endeavors. By embracing a more inclusive view, Christians can enrich their own spiritual journeys and find common ground with other traditions. Ultimately, the rejection of ascended masters may be rooted in a fixation on maintaining theological purity and a fear of the unknown. However, an open-minded approach that seeks to understand the underlying principles and values of these teachings can lead to greater spiritual enrichment and interfaith dialogue. Recognizing the common threads that run through various spiritual traditions can help break down barriers and promote a more inclusive and compassionate worldview. The rejection of ascended masters by some modern Christians may be based on ideological inconsistencies and a fear of New Age teachings. By understanding the historical context, biblical foundations, and common spiritual principles, Christians can move beyond fear and embrace a more inclusive and enriched spiritual perspective. This approach not only fosters personal growth, but also promotes greater unity and understanding across different spiritual traditions. While the idea of the ascended masters is far deeper than this short podcast, we hope that this analysis will motivate you to learn more and push the boundaries of your spiritual or religious passion, regardless of where you find yourself on this topic. One thing is sure, in our complex and ever-changing world, the journey towards spiritual clarity and knowledge is essential. The Karmic Scrolls podcast is dedicated to guiding and supporting you on this path. We suggest that reflecting inward and aligning your actions with higher principles such as love, compassion, justice, and transformation is always in alignment with what's best for ourselves and humanity. We have created educational content, personalized service packages, and digital downloads to give valuable insights and guidance to help you achieve karmic balance and spiritual enlightenment. That's the mission of Karmic Scrolls. Seek divine wisdom through meditation, prayer, and studying the teachings of enlightened beings. Our curated spiritual tools and resources will support your connection with the divine, providing clarity and guidance for your path. Join a community of like-minded seekers to share experiences and support each other. Join us today and discover the transformative power of spiritual clarity and knowledge. You can find links and information in the video description. Thanks for watching and listening.